Rocket Nation? Hopefully you guys are having the best Friday ever in the history of Fridays. We made it to Friday, y'all. We did it. Give yourselves a hand. You had a hell of a week. I watched you. You were fucking killing it. I don't even know if anyone's ever had a better week than you have had in this amazing week. Great job, everybody. Today, we're back at it with some more of Hogwarts Legacy. Of course, we're pushing for that 100%. We're at 97% right now. We have a few Merlin trials. I think like 3 or 4. I think it's only 3 side quests, right? Can I get a confirmation? Can I get a confirmation? Is it 3? Yes, Palmer. Palmer, how are you? Welcome in. Thank you so much. Welcome. How are you today? So I believe we're like 3 side quests away, right? 3 side quests. I need a confirmation on that. Mirko, you should be keeping track of everything, right? Whoa, yeah, we need to check the breeding. Thank you. I would have forgot about that. That's for the achievement. That's for that Achievo. Yeah, that's a thing. It's a thing. Check your Twitter and please hit me with a follow back. Palmer, I don't do follow backs. I apologize. I find that it causes more issues than anything else. Sorry, I was reading that right there. Unfortunately, I don't do them. I just don't do them. I just don't like the idea of following for a follow. I'm sorry. I apologize. But, yeah, so I think that we are at 3 main quests. We have to check on our breeding progress because we have some Graphorns that are doing they're doing that. And they're supposed to have a baby any moment now. Probably as soon as we get into the game, I think we got about maybe 5 or 10 minutes left. Because we did take a lot of time while they were getting it on. While they were doing that Graphorn duty, we were taking some time to talk last night. So we might have gave them some time to actually pop a baby out. I don't know. I've never done this with Graphorns before. I've never had Graphorn intercourse before. So who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? And then we have a few side quests, a few Merlin trials, and then pretty much we're getting towards the end. There was a few more achievements that were a little bit harder to get. I don't know if we're going to actually end up getting to those. And then on a totally different subject, of course, tomorrow we have the start of what we're going to be doing for the preparation for Black Myth Wukong. For those of you that don't know, we're going to be starting Black Myth Wukong. Its reviews came in today, and I'm not going to lie, I seen multiple, as in 2, because that's multiple. I seen 2 different 10 out of 10s. 2 different 10 out of 10s. So yeah, there's that too. So awesome. It's looking like it's going to be a good game. I heard it's not without its flaws, but that it was a very good game. This is from, who was it? Jake Baldino. He did a little like before you buy kind of deal for it, like he always does. And he said that it wasn't without its flaws, that it wasn't an exact and precise combat. But then again, it's not like a Souls type of game, that it's more along the lines of, what the shit do you call it? It's just an action game, he said. So that it might, if you were looking for that Dark Souls exact fighting like that, it's not Pac-Man, that's for sure, Goobs. It's not I feel like we're talking about a different game here at this point. I feel like you're talking in one genre and one decade, and actually 1 century, and I'm in a totally different century over here talking about Black Myth Wukong. Could we please get on the same page, all right? First you lie about the checks, and then you're over here talking about Pac-Man when we're talking about Black Myth Wukong. I won't hold it against you, Goobs, but this is going on your permanent record, just so you know. So yeah, we're going to be starting the preparation for Black Myth Wukong tomorrow. And that's going to include the first half hour of the stream. We're going to be jumping in and actually checking out what this whole game is basically based upon. It is a Chinese novel called Journey to the West. And I found a awesome video series of 3 videos, all about a half hour long. And they explain pretty much all 100 chapters of this 16th century novel called Journey to the West. So we're going to be checking that out tomorrow. The day after and the day after that. And then the following day, we'll be actually starting Black Myth Wukong. So super excited about that. That'll start tomorrow. We'll only do it for about, I think the first one is 34 minutes long. So if you don't want to watch that, you can always come in a half hour later and not worry about it. I think we'll just go in. I think I'm going to put Black Myth Wukong as the game title. I feel like it would fit, and I think those that are interested in Black Myth Wukong would probably be interested in that. So I don't know if it's actually, let's actually see if it's up on Twitch yet as an actual game title. Oh, baby. I'm super excited about this game, though. I am really, really excited. Let me pull up the things. So if I were to try and change the stream title to Black Myth, it does not look like it. It is up there. There's actually 664 viewers in it right now. What a coincidence. So yeah, we'll probably jump into that game's directory tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon. Mirko says, Rockitsauce, we should do a poll for reading with muted YouTube. No. How about no? I'm not going to read it, all right? I can't read, all right? I said it. I said it out loud so that everyone can hear. Yes, the guy that flies us up into low Earth orbit every day cannot read, all right? I cannot read. I appreciate you. But it's definitely not going to happen. It's not. I'm not even leaving it as an opportunity. There's no option for it ever happening. It's never going to happen. Ever. Goop says, good. I want it on my permanent record. Don't worry. I'm fine with it. Put it on my permanent record. Mirko, also, by the way, our permanent record is just Mirko's memory. So if he doesn't log it, then we'll never know that this conversation ever happened. Kind gentleman, what up, though? Happy Friday, bro. How are you today? Are you getting excited? I'm assuming, kind gentleman, that you're going to be playing Wukong, right? So yeah, I actually wanted to check out one of the reviews for it. Didn't GameSpot or somebody, I think they did. Bleeding, what up? How are you? Welcome in, buddy. That's why I do the pre-flight check, says Goops. That's because you forget to suspend me from that duty every day. Mirko says, Goobs, I log it all too well. You're not going to be playing Wukong? Oh, what? What? I actually want to check out the review came out for it today. Right there it is. COG Connect. That nope. I don't know them. I wonder what the overall review for it is right now. Wow, you know what I did see is that while I look this up, dude, did you guys see the Borderlands Rotten Tomato review? It's 9%. 9%. That's out of 100. FYI. If you guys don't know how percentage works, that's really low. Okay. Like it's at 9% right now. Holy shit. That's fucking horrible. Randy Pitchford, being the constant cunt that he is, really laid it on fucking Paul Tassi. I was reading that too. I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ, man. This guy's a piece of work. I love Borderlands. But man, oh man, that guy's got some mental issues. That fucking dude's got some real issues. Hey, what's up, Tall and Thin? How are you? Apparently, Paul Tassi did a review on the movie from the perspective of a Borderlands fan and said that it was horrible, as well as the other 92% of the people that reviewed it on Rotten Tomato or whatever, the critics, and said that it was basically horrible. So Randy Pitchford went after him with his little tiny pitchfork. Only good casting decision was Ariana Greenblatt. Okay, that's who plays Tiny Tina, right? And it turns out that the only like they basically neutered her character altogether. Like it has nothing to do with the only thing that the character in the show and Tiny Tina has, the only similarities that they still have is the fact that she has bunny ears on. Like that's it. That's what I heard. So yeah, I was looking up like Wukong review. Let me see the reviews for this. So there's the before you buy from Jake Baldino for Game Ranks. GameSpot. You guys want to watch the GameSpot one? I do want to watch one of these. There's GameSpot. There is IGN. Craze Gaming. Gaming Bolt, Push Square, Games Radar. And it looks like that's about it. Which one do you guys want to watch? Just shout it out in chat if you guys heard one that you do like. Otherwise, I'll just pick one. By the way, what happened to Helldivers 2 and Flaming that was going for a while? I don't know. I don't know. What was going on with Helldivers 2? Oh, wasn't there something with the flamethrowers? Something was going on with the flamethrowers. What I had heard, and people weren't happy. IGN says, kind gentleman, IGN. Murat says Debbie does Dallas. Wrong review. That's that we have to go somewhere else for that review. Murat, what up, buddy? How are you? What up, Mr. Zero TS? How are you today, sir? It's good to see you. Was it Helldivers or something? There was something with a flamethrower in Helldivers is all I had heard. You said flaming. I picked out of your sentence Helldivers 2 and flaming, and I turned that into controversy about flamethrowers being nerfed. All right, so you want to see, somebody said they wanted to see IGN's review. Let's watch IGN's review for this. Let me go ahead and pause the music. So this is IGN's review for Black Myth Wukong. This is the PC review, by the way.
Hey, Mitchell Saltzman here.
Why is it echoing? Why is it echoing? I'm gonna put it up on the big screen. It's on the big screen. Boop. There we go. So this is IGN review for Black Myth Wukong. It sounds like it's gonna be a little echoey and super loud.
I'm the reviewer of Black Myth Wukong, and just a quick note about this review. As part of the embargo agreement set for this game, I am unable to show you footage beyond Chapter 2.
Good.
Which presents a bit of a problem because a lot of the technical issues that I have with this game that I specifically call out in this review occurred after Chapter 2, so I'm unable to actually show them. So we're going to do 2 different video reviews this time. This first one will abide by the restrictions and only show footage from the first 2 chapters, but we will also be posting a more complete review with the relevant footage added in on launch day. And with that, on with the review for Black Myth Wukong.
Is this like the absolute, we need the highest quality possible to humankind. There it is! Over 4,000!
I've never been so utterly blown away, yet simultaneously so unbelievably frustrated by a game as I have been with Black Myth Wukong.
Uh-oh.
This is undoubtedly one of the most ambitious and impressive action games I've played. It's stunningly gorgeous, its combat is fantastic,
oh, that's so dope right there.
But always satisfying to overcome, and the setting is refreshingly unique and steeped in rich Chinese culture.
Wait, what the fuck was that? Wait, what the heck? Wait, go back. Hold on. Wait. What was?
Is refreshingly unique
Hold
and
on.
steeped in rich Chinese culture.
You can't sing if you don't have a head. Am I right or am I right? You need a head to sing. This guy can't get a head, let me tell you. This. Wow, I love it. I love it. Yes, we are
Despite all of that,
yes.
it often feels like it's barely holding it all together. I suffered numerous crashes, despite having a top-of-the-line setup with the GeForce RTX 4090. Not to mention the multiple times I fell through the ground and died in the final phase of a boss fight. Or the way characters would randomly switch from English to Chinese, or the way the dialogue audio would just drop out altogether and leave me completely in the dark during an important cutscene. It's a rickety roller coaster for sure, and there were definitely spots during the ride where I was not having a great time. But taken as a whole, this is one adventure where the bumps are worth it.
But that's one thing though. I mean, bugs are fixable things. Bugs are, I don't know, like falling through the ground, that's kind of rough. All right, that's a rough one. But I don't know, I get less mad at those things until I get in the moment when I'm all into what's happening, and then somebody starts speaking Chinese and I lose where I'm at in the story, then I might get a little bit pissed off. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm not worried about those things pre-launch. Those are bugs that can be fixed. I care about the gameplay in this more than anything. Can they nail the gameplay?
Black Myth Wukong's story is somewhat of a follow-up to the classic novel Journey to the West by Wu Chenggen. a book that I only personally know thanks to very loose adaptations like Dragon Ball and Enslaved Odyssey to the West. That surface level familiarity.
Enslaved was based on that? No way. That game was dope back in the day. That game was fucking badass. That's an old game.
Didn't help much though, as the interpretation that the developers at Game Science have crafted here is laden with references to characters and events from the novel, without doing a great job of bringing you up to speed on who Sun Wukong is, or what he encountered on his titular journey.
He has the longest eyebrows I've ever seen in all of history. I want his eyebrows when I get older.
I had to look online to understand who Zhu Bajie was, what his history with Wukong is, and what the significance of certain encounters were, because otherwise I'd have been completely lost at times. You play as the Destined One, a literal monkey who wakes up one morning and decides to set out on a roughly 40-hour journey to locate the 6 relics of Wukong. While the moment-to-moment storytelling is fairly unremarkable, largely due to a mute protagonist and side characters that aren't given enough screen time to develop, each of the 6 self-contained chapters culminates with a stunningly gorgeous animated vignette that tells a short story about that chapter's main antagonist. Each one is done in a completely different art style, with one drawn to look like a storybook, another using stop-motion animation, and another done in the style of an anime. Every single one of them is beautiful and poignant, and I couldn't help but wish that the main story managed to move me in similar ways.
So you don't actually play as Sun Wukong, you play as somebody. Okay, that was one big question mark that I had. Also, we are a silent protagonist. That's kind of a bummer. That's kind of a bummer. I don't know. That's kind of a little bit of a disappointment for me. Can you read the Screen Rant review after this? Apparently, it's hilarious. The Screen Rant review they did. You want me to read? Do you know who you're talking to? You want me to read something out loud for you to hear it? That incoherent mess is what. Maybe we'll do like a. Can we get like a screen narrator? Is there like a screen narrator we can put the text into and then have the screen, like my computer, read it out for us? You want me to read? Really? Thinks about it and he's like, no, forget it.
My initial read on Wukong was that it was a Souls-like, given the checkpoint system, the stamina bar that governs your actions in combat, and the dodge-heavy fighting style.
There's 2 people that he's fighting here in this. There is the little guy he's fighting there, and then the big guy, of course.
But as it turns out, Wukong has more in common with traditional action games, like what you might expect from Bayonetta developer Platinum Games, than it does with anything that From Software has made.
He just transformed.
Most of the usual Souls-like conventions are missing. There's no penalty for death outside of respawning at the nearest checkpoint. You don't use a shared currency to level up your stats and purchase items or upgrades.
Thank God for that.
And while there is gear and stats to consider, you largely just go and swap out the old equipment with the new, as opposed to making choices as to what kind of weapon or piece of armor you want to hold on to and upgrade.
So there's no real gear progression in the game, which I think I'm okay with. I think there's so many of those games that it's nice to have one come along that where we don't have to worry about, oh, this set does that or this set does that. More or less, it's just telling a story and we're working our way through and just have fun gameplay. I think that's okay.
And even though I am a big fan of Souls-likes, ditching those mechanics feels like the right move for the game that Wukong is trying to be. It's far more forgiving, focused on keeping you in the action rather than poring over menus or retracing your steps to regain your lost currency.
Look at this boss. Look at this boss. It looks like a rat, but it's holding a hat in one hand and then a weapon in another.
Currency after dying.
You see it?
And Wukong is a better, more distinctive game for it. To be clear though, when I say it's more forgiving, I don't mean that it's any less difficult than a From style game. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that between this and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, I had more difficulty getting through Wukong's toughest challenges.
What? What? I'm done. We're not playing this game. I'm returning it. I'm good. I'm fucking good. All right. We out, boys. No more Wukong. Hells to the no. That is no fucking way that this dude's actually for real. Yeah, that is not fucking true. Come on, man. Come the fuck on. This dude's smoking crack. This fucking guy in Elden Ring God?
Those challenges never felt unfair, and overcoming some of the tougher boss fights was always a satisfying combination of learning their attack patterns, figuring out where I could maximize my punishment windows, and tweaking my loadout in ways that made the best use of my chosen powers.
Black Bear guy Guai. Yo Guai King Black Bear Guai. Nailed it.
Combat in Black Myth Wukong is simple and elegant, thanks in part to some tools that are really fun to play around with.
He's a
Success
frog.
hinges on a delicate balance of Twitch reflex style gameplay mixed with careful resource management that largely revolves around a focus meter, which builds up when you land hits and perfectly dodge enemy attacks.
So hit, dodge.
You gain a focus point whenever that meter fills up, which you can then spend in the middle of a light attack combo for a varied combo, or you can just use a heavy attack on its own for a powerful strike that can be charged even further if 2, 3, or even 4 focus points are consumed all at once.
That right there? Like charge up?
You also have access to a small handful of spells, governed by a mana meter, that are versatile enough to be useful in a wide array of situations. The Immobilize spell, for instance, freezes enemies for a short time, allowing you to get in some quick hits and potentially stagger them to allow for even more free damage. Cloud Step turns you invisible and creates a decoy for your enemies to focus on while you break away, heal up, then hit your foe with a surprise attack that can crit.
Yeah, that's
Solid
badass.
briefly turns you into a statue that will cause an enemy's attack to bounce right off of you, giving you an opportunity for a counterattack.
So kinda like a
fire
parry?
creates a barrier around you that will initially repel enemies and grant you some health restoration, along with enhancing any stat-altering drinks that you may use while standing inside of it. And finally, there's my personal favorite, a Plug of Many, which lets you make multiple clones.
That's essentially what Sun Wukong could do, right? Not only did he have 72 transformations that he knew, but he could also multiply himself limitless times or some shit like that. Yeah. Confringo! It's not Confringo.
Up on an enemy at once.
Look, he's like stuck up in the air. God, I hope the camera's good.
Separate from that, you've also got
transformations, what I hope is good,
which allow you to morph into powerful creatures that you've already bested in battle. What's really cool about these is that they don't cost any mana, they're tied to a very lengthy cooldown instead, and they turn you into a totally different character, complete with an all-new...
This is that same boss that had that head in its hand, right? So is this a repeat boss or is this the same fight? Light attack Moon Dance continuously slash enemies, building up focus. Heavy attack Y Moon Chase unleash a series of dash attacks, and B follow dodge with Y heavy attacks. Perform powerful new move.
Moveset, special moves that use their own focus meter, and more. For example, one of the first bosses that you fight is a wolf with a fiery dual blade that has a lightning fast dash attack. When you defeat him, you'll gain his transformation and be able to do that very same dash attack to your enemies, and once you build up its focus meter, you'll even be able to do a hugely powerful leaping strike that can ignite foes and deal damage over time to them.
It looked like it had invincibility frames there.
There are spirit skills, which are earned by defeating certain more powerful versions of enemies and absorbing their essence into your gourd. These are effectively transformations that only last for one attack and are also tied to a fairly lengthy cooldown, but it's great to be able to, for example, use the Wandering Wight's powerful headbutt attack to get an extra stagger after immobilizing an enemy. These spirit skills can also be leveled up, which makes it so that even the early game spirits never lose their strength as the campaign rolls on. It's an excellent blend of options, especially when mixed with some truly incredible boss fights.
Like using the water
introduces all these elements at a thoughtfully measured pace, so I never felt overwhelmed. Make no mistake, the Destined One is extremely powerful.
Yes!
And being in control of him is definitely a heck of a power trip. Even beyond the many powers and abilities he has at his disposal, nothing beats the feeling of just slamming a 50-foot bow staff down onto an enemy's head.
Yes, that's
but
fucking badass.
I still had to be smart with how I used my spells due to the fact that mana restoration is actually very difficult. This is where the resource management aspect of combat comes into play. I had to carefully consider what spells were actually worth the mana cost, whether I should save them for a more difficult second phase of a fight, and whether or not I could capitalize on the opportunity if I were to spend the mana in the first place. For instance, even though it's my most powerful spell, I often had to hold off on casting my Pluck of Many spell that duplicates my character since it has an extremely high mana cost. If I cast it at a bad time, the boss could simply wipe out all of my clones with an AoE attack before they even got a chance to get some damage in. Sometimes the adjustment I had to make when I was stuck on a boss was a simple change in how I used my abilities, and the act of coming up with a new strategy and having it pay off was always extremely satisfying.
Oh, that's so dope right there.
Battles are
Murat says, sorry for the delay with the Groot. Oh, you talk. Okay, I was mentally trying to figure that out. I had to order some special materials after the clothing. You guys don't know. Murat is making another Groot for us. I fucking love this guy. But you apparently had a delay in it. Yeah. Had to order some special materials to alter the clothing. Think clay that dries as hard as metal. As metal? I'm not going to be throwing the thing across the room. Buddy! Just Marats, you don't have to go that far, man. I appreciate you, man. And also, don't worry about a delay. You get it done when you get it done. Make it as good as you want, first off. But you don't have to go that far for me, man. It has to survive your fiddling. Listen, I barely fiddle. I do a little bit of fiddle. Okay, I fiddle. Okay, I do fiddle a bit. Depending on how good it looks. You know what I'm saying? We are doing okay, forget it. I am Groot. I am Groot. Where is Groot?
There's also a highly respectable amount of enemy variety in its regular fights. Level design is of the wide linear variety.
Thank you, Murat. And no worries about the delay, man. You get it done when you get it done.
Checkpoint, but plenty of opportunities to venture off that path to discover optional goodies. The rewards for exploration are great too. I've found rare crafting materials to make new weapons and armor, special enemies that drop a new spirit skill, curio items that I could equip to enhance my build, and treasure chests that might permanently increase my max health, mana, or stamina, all of which made the time that I took to find them well spent. On top of that, there are also several secret boss fights to discover. Key items with mysterious uses.
Yeah, I heard that there's like 80-some boss fights in this. There's going to be 80-some boss fights.
That I still haven't figured out, and plenty of more reasons to stray from the beaten path and keep an eye constantly scanning the environment. The main one being that Wukong is one of the most gorgeous games I've ever played. Every environment is brimming with detail, from the chipped pieces of bark on the trees in the forest, to the real-time deformation of the snow.
Yeah, the snow, look at that snow. It does look really, really, really good.
Moves through it while dragging his staff along.
It's up there with the first thing that I thought of when I seen the snow in this game was Red Dead Redemption 2.
Not only that, but the animation is impeccable too, with wonderful touches and flourishes, like the way your character will do a little hop step when locked onto an enemy, then change to strafing around them as opposed to just running straight on while keeping their head turned.
That was cool.
The music and sound design is fantastic as well, with epic drum-thumping battle themes.
Oh, that's badass.
And melodic flutes and chimes adding to the air of wonder and mystery as you explore the unknown.
That was good music. Oh, I'm getting excited for this, buds.
All that said, this game really would have benefited from a map, plain and simple. The lands you explore in Wukong are beautiful, no doubt, but they're far too big and too crammed with secrets to not give you some sort of navigational
said the exact same thing.
Especially the second and third chapters. This, along with the fact that it's aggravatingly hard to tell what obstacles can actually be climbed over and what's an invisible wall, can make exploration quite cumbersome. It's a good thing that the rewards are worth it.
Invisible walls? No!
However, it's hard not to feel like all of Wukong's splendor and detail came at a great cost. I experienced numerous crashes, with one particular heartbreaker happening right after defeating an extremely tough boss that I then had to defeat again. Several others were more minor and would typically happen as I was loading up a new chapter or fast traveling to another level, but they eventually add up to a lot of frustration. In addition to that, several times during important cutscenes, all dialogue, audio, and subtitles would drop out completely, leaving me without any clue as to what was being talked about and no way to rewatch the cutscene. Characters would occasionally switch to speaking Chinese all of a sudden, despite me having the audio set to English. The lip flaps of the English dub often don't even remotely match what's being spoken.
Oh, thank me to God. Oh, finally then, the 3 bells sang.
Yeah, that's a little off.
And most of the journal entries you find along the way haven't even been localized yet into English. The worst, though, was one particular fight in which the boss would plunge me down through the ground during the transition to its final phase, only to have me fall through the world once I regained control of my character. This kept on happening to the point where I thought my game was unavoidably bugged and I wouldn't be able to reach the end. But my insanity of trying the same thing over and over again eventually yielded a different result for no discernible reason.
Well, I guess the good news is they still have 4 days to fix that. You know what I'm saying? They still have a day 1 patch. That's if it's not already included, at least now they have an eye that this could be an issue. We need to get that patch pronto.
These are the kinds of technical problems that Game Science will hopefully look to address in post-launch patches. And it's not outside the realm of possibility, as even Cyberpunk 2077 was eventually whipped into shape after its own buggy launch. I hope that those fixes come swiftly, because while I still wholeheartedly think that the things that Black Myth Whoop...
It seems like those things that he's talking about are very specific circumstances, though, right? Like it's at that exact. That's something that's not like that's not the same. You can't compare that kind of bug that happens in a very specific boss fight because of the way the boss fight happens, and that is repeatable, to the bugs that happened in fucking Cyberpunk. All right. Cyberpunk, no matter where you were in the world, you might just randomly stand up on your motorcycle and put your arms out to the side. Like you were fucking, what's her name in the Titanic. Yeah, no, it's kind of a hugely different bug. I don't think you can compare those. The fact that there are certain circumstances, I think that's, yeah, I think that bodes well for it, because at least they can pinpoint those issues and fix them.
Kong does so
quickly.
right are worth dealing with those problems. I would love to be able to recommend it without those caveats.